In October of last year, my family moved out to the middle of nowhere. My parents had always dreamed of owning lots of property, a big house, and total human seclusion. When my mother found a house with virtually nothing around aside from a corn factory across the street, she was eager to buy, to say the least. The house has 2 stories, 2 staircases, 2 living rooms, 2 attics, and 2 outdoor sheds. The front door led out onto the second floor, and immediately across it was the first staircase leading to the second living room. A bedroom, the master bedroom. The office, with built-in cameras, constantly live streaming outside, and the laundry room. In the laundry room is the second staircase that leads you directly into the kitchen, with a back door halfway through the staircase. Upstairs has 2 bedrooms, a bathroom, a living room, dining room, and a kitchen with a walk-in pantry. The realtor, Alice, was the great-granddaughter of the man who built the house in 1932. She was looking for a family with 2 children to move in. I don't know much of what the moving process was for my parents, aside from one thing. The rules Alice left for us are the only rules I must follow to live here with them. The first set of rules given was found on the kitchen stove top, after my parents had already signed the papers to own the place. The note went as followed. "Greetings. You are now the proud owner of this property. In order to live here safely and peacefully, you must abide to these rules directly as followed." My apologies for not telling you directly, but we could not afford another runoff. Here are your house rules. Rule 1. You are not to choose sleeping arrangements. The youngest child must sleep downstairs in the bedroom adjacent to the second living room. The parents of the house must sleep in the master. The oldest child must sleep upstairs in the bedroom to the left of the bathroom. Rule 2. The empty bedroom must be dressed with a bed, chairs, and a table. This will be Vlad's room. Do not make him feel unwelcome. Rule 3. Do not use the attic with the door that leads outside. That's for Vlad's things. The door should be locked, and if it's not, please contact me immediately. Rule 4. There is a cat that lives here, Blazer. If he does not like you, you all must leave immediately. Rule 5. If you choose to let Blazer in the house, make sure you do so before 7 p.m. or after 4 a.m. If he is inside during these times, do not let him outside until sunrise, no matter how much he begs. Rule 6. You each have your separate list of rules within your rooms. You are not to share these rules with anyone else living in the house. I wish you all the best. Alice Collider. We were all pretty stunned, to say the least. But seemed simple enough, right? If anything, I was just excited to meet our new cat. Moments later, we heard meowing from outside, and we were greeted with a fat orange cat. I let him indoors, and he ran inside quickly and began rubbing up on us all. He is honestly adorable and just the sweetest man I've ever met. We were all happy to see him greet us with such love. I seem to be his favorite, as he has not left my side since we met him. We all decide to go to our respective rooms to get some of our stuff into our new space before going back to our other house with all of our stuff. Being only 18 years old, I am the youngest child. I was only living there until I move across the country to go to college. I went downstairs and set down a box of some stuff I had brought to put up on my walls when I noticed another note from Alice sitting on my floor. The note read as follows. Greetings. You must be the youngest child. Here are some rules you need to follow. And remember, do not under any circumstances share these rules with your parents or siblings. Rule 1. You must plaster your walls with photos, letters, paintings, or objects. Make sure it is known that this is your room. Rule 2. Your door is a sliding door. If you hear scratching at it, do not open the door under any circumstance. If it is Blazer, he will open it himself. Rule 3, keep all mirrors covered at all times. Use your bathroom upstairs if you need to use one. Rule 4, only use the staircase closest to you. Bring Blazer with you if he refuses to go up. Try again in 20 minutes. Rule 5, do not cook anything after 10 p.m. Rule 6, do not shower after 9:03 p.m. If you need to shower, ask Vlad for permission. The shower will turn on if it's safe for you to continue. Rule 7, do not enter the house after midnight. Sleep in your car, off the property, or find a friend's house to sleep in. You are safe to enter at sunrise. Rule 8, if you wake up in the middle of the night or after a nap and you are home alone, go back to sleep. You are not home and you are not alone. Rule 9, you may keep your room as clean or as messy as you'd like, but the moment you see mice, you must deep clean everything in there and rearrange all of the stuff on your walls. They no longer understand that room is yours. Rule 10, when you are home, you are to play music from 12 a.m. to 1 a.m. If someone yells at you to turn it off, turn it up and lock your door. I appreciate your understanding, and I hope you all love this place as much as me and my father did. Alice Collider. Again, seems easy enough. My brother comes downstairs from his new room. Being 25 makes him the oldest. Dude, I got 15 stupid ass rules. This is such bullshit. I think she's trying to mess with us or something. Weird. I only got 10, but she told us not to discuss them. I'll tell you mine if you tell me yours. I thought about it for a second, but my whole family is pagan and we all practice our respective witchcraft. None of us are the type to take this lightly or with any disrespect. It was off. He was even trying to ask me what mine were. After we stared at each other for a moment, I finally spoke up. We probably shouldn't, considering it could be paranormal. I paused. And I don't know about you, but I'm not really trying to piss off any spirits. Our first week here. He laughed. You don't actually believe in this shit, do you? I shrugged my shoulders and started unpacking my box of paintings and posters. As he turned to walk away, he muttered something about how he wasn't going to ask a pretend man if he could use his own bathroom in the morning. I can only assume he meant Vlad, and that was one of his rules. Flash forward 2 weeks later, and we're all moved in by now. My lovely mother set up Vlad's room as instructed and shut the door. Every morning at 8 a.m., she would open it, and every night at 8 p.m., she would shut it. I assume that's one of her rules. As time went on, I would notice little things my parents and brother would do, and could only assume those were rule-based. But no one ever asked questions about one another doing them. By now, my room was covered floor to ceiling in anything and everything I could push a thumbtack through, and I had little to no issues following these rules in my time spent there. Until about a month or so before I was supposed to leave for college, it was almost like the house knew. By this time, my brother was moved out and living with his wife and new baby. This is important. May 24th. I was playing some music on my TV as I was falling asleep per normal until I heard loud banging coming from upstairs. I heard a voice that sounded identical to my brother's, screaming at me to turn it off, claiming he had a hard time hearing himself think. This is the first time this had happened in my 6 months living here. I turned up the music and tried to fall asleep, but I couldn't over the pounding in my insomniac brain. I decided to watch Netflix on my phone until I heard scratches at the door. It was only Blazer letting himself in. Once he entered, he stood guarding my door and meowing at me. It was at that moment I realized I had forgotten to lock my door. I got up and did so. Blazer cuddled with me until I fell asleep. May 29th. I work nights as a pizza delivery driver. We close shop at 10 p.m., which means sometimes closing can cause me to get home at 11:45 or later. Normally when this happens, I don't risk pulling into the house, and I sleep in my car at the factory across the street until around 6 a.m. when the sun rises. I got off at 11:50 and pull around to the factory as normal. I kept a change of comfy clothes, extra medication, and phone chargers in my car for nights like these. I was rummaging through my bag when I realized I'd forgot to replace my medications with more extras. I began to panic as I need those medications and it's detrimental to my health to take them daily. I read the clock 11:56. I start my car and cross the street to my house, now running to make it in on time. I go to open the door when I see Blazer running up to me, pawing to come in. I remember Rule 5 of the house rules and pick him up to move him away from the door. I check my phone 11:59. I unlock the door, and as I open it, I see it quickly change to 12 a.m. I breathe deeply and rush downstairs to my room. I open the door and see Blazer laying on my bed. Confused, I approach him and he swats at me and leaves 3 long cuts along my arm, all gushing blood. I shoo him out of my room, go upstairs, and set up for a shower. I then remembered I needed to ask Vlad first, which hadn't been a problem in the past as I would just shower in the mornings to avoid asking him, but I was covered in blood and needed to hop in. I approached his door and knocked. Mr. Vlad, sir, I need to shower. I have blood on my arm. I waited and nothing. Please, can I shower? Blazer scratched me. I didn't let him in the house. Still nothing. I angrily shrugged. What if my brother was right? This was all bullshit. I started the shower and got undressed. As I climbed inside, I heard screams and banging from the other side of the door, but this time it sounded like my father, who I had just heard snoring moments before. CJ, I told you no. You knew it was no. Get the fuck out of there before I come in and drag you out myself. I quickly cleaned off my arm and hopped out, unlocked the door, and there was no one. It was almost too quiet. And that's when I remembered. The music. I sprinted down my stairs and turned it on loudly. That's when I heard thumping and scratching at my door. I locked it with Blazer, still in my room on my bed. I got ready for bed and practically forced myself to sleep. June 2nd, 1 week until I get to leave. I am very much so a pot smoker. I'm 18 and have my green card, so it's legal where I was. My father could never stand the smell, so I would need to smoke outside most of the time. No biggie. At 9:30 p.m., I leave my room to go upstairs so I can go smoke a bowl and cook some food before I go to bed. I bring Blazer with me. He happily goes up the stairs, so I follow. I go sit on the front porch alone and stargaze and daydream for a while before returning inside. In my stoned little brain, I must have forgotten to check the time before grabbing some waffles from the freezer and popping them in the toaster in the pantry. I left my phone downstairs on the charger, so I was just sort of watching the toaster while it was cooking. I became very tired and sleepy suddenly. It felt like I was underwater, being pushed further and further to the ground until I just collapsed. As my eyes were fluttering shut, I read the time on the oven. 10:06. Shit. Rule 5. I wake up sometime later in my bed, with cooked waffles and a full water bottle by my side. I felt sober, but I needed to pee. I got up and couldn't find Blazer anywhere, so I just decided to go up without him. When I reached the top, I looked outside for a moment before noticing my parents' trucks. We not in the driveway. I didn't pay much attention to it as I was groggy from sleep and needed to use the bathroom. When I came out, I heard the toaster pop and walked into the kitchen to investigate. I noticed the time 10:06. Weird. I then turned the corner and I saw myself, lifeless. My body was blue, and my eyes were popped out of my head like one of those squeeze toys you can get at the gas station. My mouth was gaping open as if I was gasping for air, and there were claw marks all around my neck and bite marks on my chest and stomach as if an animal was trying to eat me. I looked out the window once more and noticed my parents' trucks were still gone. I then heard Vlad's door opening. I ran to the other side of the wall and down the stairs just enough to be able to catch a glimpse of him. I was utterly horrified. This thing was not a man, not even human for that matter. He was slender man levels of tall with a single eye for a head. He had horse hooves for feet and hands. The eye was complete with an eyelid and lashes, which had bugs littered all around it. And oh God, I can never get that stench out of my head. It smelled like rotting flesh and a used baby diaper. I coughed at it. It snapped around and began sprinting for me. I ran to my room, locked the door, and hid under my bed, whispering at myself to just fall asleep and it will go away. It started pounding on my door, this time using the voice of my mother, CJ baby, it's just me, open up, I want to protect you. I began to cry and started blaring music into my headphones, as well as on the TV to drown out the sound. I guess I fell asleep because when I woke up, it was 7 a.m. and my father was holding me in his arms on the kitchen floor. He was singing a pretty rendition of a Falling in Reverse song we both loved. He thought I was dead. I haven't shared my story with anyone until now. I am in college now, safe and far away from that place. My parents still live there, problem-free. I think their rules weren't as weird as mine or my brother's. My brother now tells me the real reason he left in the middle of the night with all his things. I would love to share it if anyone is interested. Thank you.